Hey, things are not what you think.
Yeah, there's always something you don't know.
Welcome to Joey's Real Talk.
老外大声说。
So some of the hot topics that's going on in Taiwan recently, and this became a national piece of national news. I'm going to try to briefly cover it. If I make any mistakes, please do let me know. Okay. So there was a female model who was murdered a few weeks ago. The suspect at that time, he claimed that he had a female accomplice, a friend of his, who was involved in the act, and then the internet was quick to basically condemn her, arriving at her Facebook and calling her horrendous things and awful names.
Yeah, this girl that he was implicating was actually his girlfriend, I think. And then she also was the friend of the model who was murdered.
Right.
Right.
Then later on, we found out that this man who murdered the model simply named his girlfriend so that he could receive a lighter sentence, because I think that's how the laws work.
That's what investigators are guessing.
Are guessing, yeah, okay. Yeah. And so people were quick to now take off their comments that they made on her Facebook, which brings us to this point where we want to talk about trolls, people who basically are just out to attack those and the most frequently about things they don't understand. So aside from the mythical creature definition, here as Urban Dictionary would have it, probably not the best source for definitions, but trolls are one who posts a deliberately provocative message to a news group or message board with the intention of causing maximum disruption and argument. Sound about right?
Yeah, and I have the Merriam-Webster definition too.
Oh, yeah, better.
Let me just add to your definition. Okay, so to antagonize others online by deliberately posting inflammatory, irrelevant, or offensive comments or other disruptive content.
Sounds much better.
Yeah, that does sound a bit better.
At a girl, Merriam-Webster, or at a boy, I suppose.
Or a group of people, a group of editors.
At a company.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So today we're going to talk about trolls, and if you have any stories to share with us, please do come to our Facebook Live at ICRT's main Facebook page, and we are going to hopefully be able to share your thoughts, share your stories, share your comments. And should we find your comments to be usable on the air, then we have some movie tickets for you guys for a movie called Shockwave. Okay, so let's get into the heap of it. Let's start with our personal experiences. Have you guys ever been trolled?
Well, because I am such a nerd, wait, okay, no. Anyway, I generally stay off online forums. I don't know, I tend to find that interacting with others, like people that I completely don't know online, is odd or unpleasant, so I tend to stick with people that I know personally anyway. So I haven't actually been trolled before.
Okay, Philip, what about you?
Yeah, not really. I mean, my Facebook is set to private, so anybody on there is my friend. I'm not really going to be getting my friends saying anything too horrible to me, I hope.
Right, because you probably have to see them in the near
future.
What about, have you ever trolled anybody, Nancy?
Come on now.
Oh, who knows? You know, being a Canadian is not sufficient of an excuse to stay away from this question.
I guess not. I would like to point out though that I don't know. Would anybody say, yeah, I've trolled other people? It's like you don't really think you're trolling. You think you're like, you know,
putting forth an argument, I suppose.
Right, or being the sword of justice.
Right, okay, here's the thing. Internet vigilante, I think, is what a lot of trolls think they are. You know, they're performing some sort of justice, an act of justice. How about this? I think when I'm a big nerd myself, so I often go online to YouTube to watch people play video games, which is just, it's absurd that you would refuse playing video games in your own homes, but you want to watch people doing it online. And sometimes all they do is film, you know, their walkthrough while they're playing a certain game, and there are people who just can't help but just completely destroy their channels by saying, oh, you missed an item right there, you an idiot. And then it just goes with just nationals of gamers who would come in and lend in their 2 cents. I think there's a thing about this game, the zombie game a while back, where Taiwan and China had a thing on the online. People were, you know, kind of forward about their nationality and their patriotism, and then it became a huge thing.
I'd also
even
like
in gaming.
I'd also like to point out that if you're a woman and you're online gaming, then it's a whole other like ballpark of trolling and comments and inappropriateness and.
Or musician. I know a musician who covered a couple of metal songs. And because metal is generally, or historically speaking, you know, a male-dominant musical genre, and she was trolled for it, though I think she did a pretty good job. So there are some, of course, examples out there. And so I guess these are our limited experiences in trolling. So we want to find out whether or not we have people around us or friends who know a little bit more about trolling in other parts of Asia, and we got some usable bites to share with you. Nancy, so far, do we have comments online?
We have. Hi, Jim Tai. We saw you last time. He's really excited about the topic today. He says trolls are the worst.
Yes.
Sounds like you have personal experience, Jim.
Sounds like
Please
it.
Share.
Yeah, please do share a story with us.
Same for True Young Lee. He says, nice topic.
True Young Lee?
True Young Lee.
Like not the fake Young Lee, the true Young Lee?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry. Am I being a troll right now? Okay, so we got a Japanese interviewee and a Taiwanese interviewee where we want to find out what are
He's
some
American.
Oh, he's American.
His parents are Taiwanese, but he's American.
Okay, so American Taiwanese. No, he's currently residing in Taiwan.
No, he's currently residing in the U.S.
Of Taiwanese ancestry.
Of Taiwanese ancestry.
Okay, so let's first share the comment from our Japanese interviewee and find out what trolling is like in Japan.
Most of them are happening on Twitter, and then I don't have a Twitter account, so honestly, I don't really know about what's happening on Twitter in Japan. But as far as I know, like Japanese people could troll anything, like from some celebrities having affairs to some social issues such as lack of kindergartens. Like, I mean, anything. We like to use Twitter because, as you might know, Japan is a country with a high social stress, like social pressure, probably from work, from school, or even from your family. So we like to go anonymous, basically. We really care about what other people think of ourselves. So when we go anonymous, like we start talking very loudly, and then some people attack people. So Twitter is the biggest, like very popular social media where a lot of trolls are happening. So
first off, I have to say I'm surprised that Twitter is a popular mode of communication in Japan.
Doesn't seem like it's so much in Taiwan.
Yeah, we haven't really picked it up. In the States, there are now basically news outlets using Twitter mainly as their form of communication. Okay, so you mentioned a couple of things. First off is that Japan is a country with a lot of social stress. I think those were the words he used.
Yeah.
I've never really lived in Japan for an extended period of time. Phil has.
Yes, I have.
So can you share that with us?
Well, what he's touching on mostly is has to do with this Japanese term called tatemae.
Tatemae.
Which means facade.
Oh,
like the facade
really?
in a building, what you put up in front. And so that's what you show the outside world, anybody who is not within your inner circle. And those people in your inner circle, you would express your honne, which is your true intentions or feelings on any subject. So when you have this anonymous cover of the internet, you are free to be as honne as you want.
Okay.
And so these people, he's saying that people will kind of release all the pressure they feel when they are hiding their identity.
First off, honne means your true self.
Well, literally means like true sound. So it means the sound of what you're thinking.
Because there is a British electronic music duo, British boys, but they spent time studying Japan and decided to call their group or their duo honne, which means true self. And I guess they probably
Guess that's where they got it from.
Right. So
They've been calling it tatemae.
they could exactly. So I'm guessing that they grew frustrated with tatemae and they want to have some honey through music.
I guess.
Okay. So there is, I guess, anyone who's got close Japanese friends does get this feeling that Japanese folks, they don't tend to reveal all of themselves
all at once,
exactly. And it takes a while to get into
And
their
it
inner
depends
circle.
in different areas and different circles. You know, with your
So different
coworkers,
cliques
it's
from
different.
different-
Yeah.
Oh.
There's always different circles with your family or with your friends or with your coworkers, and they're all excluding each other in different Venn diagrams.
But what's going on at the same time is that everyone in Japan is basically subject to the same level of stress.
Yes.
Yeah, like to make money and also obligations to the family.
Ways.
Yes, your social roles and whatnot. And so this is, I guess, breeding ground for people who want to be able to speak out, but they can't quite tell you who they are.
Right. Now, I wonder if like what the trolling online or whatever they say online, I wonder if that really is honne though. I'm so afraid Philip's gonna correct my pronunciation.
I'm not going to do that. Only to him.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know if that's...
You pointed at me, by the way, just so you know.
I don't know if that's your real self, though. It's like the uglier you or the most like basic instinctive you, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily
Yeah, it could be a reactive you. It's not, I mean, it might not be what the person would think if they had time to think over it.
Yeah.
And I also don't think it's necessarily only to do with Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it might just be perhaps that with the pressure that it is in Japan, it might be kind of concentrated. But I think this is, a phenomenon that we see everywhere. I mean, trolls are everywhere, and they say horrible things everywhere. So
that's what I want to say. I don't think troll is a 21st century phenomena.
No.
I think it's been around since, say the Dark Ages, where you have heralds, visiting towns and spreading their words. And sometimes those words are hurtful to certain political parties or to certain social groups. But it just never became as prevalent as, with the onset of internet.
It's basically gossip.
It's
really.
Basically that, isn't
but
it?
I mean, now we can just gossip immediately. We don't need to, wait until we see our friends. You can just read the article and post on the comments down below exactly what you feel without time to filter it through your brain.
Because you can type faster than you can speak or even
Sometimes,
think these days. Yeah, and it's so easy to say 4-letter hurtful words.
Yeah, and I think it's also the access. I think people derive a sense of pleasure from posting or trolling somebody directly, like online, and then knowing that that person will read it, and like you're able to hurt that person in a very direct way that you weren't able to hurt them in that way before.
I agree with
online
that.
Access.
I have a couple of friends, girls. I just want to mention that because they're very intelligent, and every time there are people who are trolling them, they just rebut with some sort of intellectual argument. And when you put forth an argument, then the trolls, they have to disappear because they can't actually argue with you. But also on the other side is a lot of trolls. They just want to basically do overkills. They want to hurt you as much as they can with one comment in an intent to shut you up and just not talk to them anymore. So we want to hear what your trolling experiences are so far. I'm just sharing what mine are. And go ahead and find our Facebook and share that with us. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back here on ICRT as we're Real Talk today is about internet trolls right here on ICRT.
Please don't troll us.
Me and Philip and Nancy. Yes, please don't troll us.
Make yourself comfortable and take a deep breath.
We just had a bunch of likes and hearts.
Okay,
When we said we were
so
taking a break.
hopefully you're sharing your comments with us. 我们今天在 Real Talk 老外大声说的话题呢是酸民啊，网络酸民现在真的变成是一个非常泛滥的状况。那么我相信其实现在在看我们的 Facebook Live 的您呢，其实应该也会有一些酸民的经验。我要承认啦，当然也是曾经酸过别人但是希望大家今天可以跟我们分享一些 idea 啊，让我们来了解一下到底酸民是一个什么样的文化。同时呢，我们也会刚刚有问到一位日本来的朋友，等一下要问一位美国来的朋友，去了解一下在其他的国家酸民文化是什么样的状况。那如果说你是来自于非台湾的国家的话，我们更想要知道你的一些留言或者是你的故事哦。So if you're from a non-Taiwan country, from a country that's not Taiwan, from anywhere else, from abroad basically, we want to find out your story and. Please don't troll me. And here are some movie tickets for you guys if we end up using your stories. Okay. Nancy is our social media coordinator, and she's mostly going to be responsible for finding these comments. Jason Wong. Thanks, ICRT, for talking about this issue. Trolls around the world, but it would eventually undermine the sharing of culture, and ultimately hurt everyone on this island if it's not constructive. I read about this mainland China article and felt the same, and he shared a link. And I do agree. I think most of the times trolls are coined by people who go out to hurt someone without any constructive criticisms. So if you have constructive criticisms for us, please do lay in the comment as well. Otherwise, you're just, kind of 你可以讲大声一点。
请大家分享直播出去。
哦，请大家也分享我们的直播出去，然后让大家都可以看到，就是跟我们一起分享一下网络的酸民文化。
不像我们 Eric 讲就讲。
对。
Do we talk about the liking and the like and the?
Yeah, talk about it.
Did you put a thing there?
Yeah, it's the. So you still can talk about it.
Yeah.
这是什么？我看一下。
If you trolled.
你要放我原味哦。
有被酸过，请按 sad。曾酸过人，为什么按酸过人是按爱心 ？OK， 好，这样子 OK 吗？
没关系，你看，可以按。
Alright， 我们现在广告时间。
怎么了？你怎么了
Talking between the two. Need some water?
No, I'm good, thank you. Let's play a song from Honey. 其实，身为 ICRT， 就是我觉得任何的媒体都还是一定有被酸过的经验啊，因为 because we're out there, we're talking to people, and of course we make mistakes.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes it's not even if you make mistakes; it's just for being
who you are. Yeah, just being you, and I guess you have to, as media persons, we have to learn to just take what we
grow
can.
a thick skin.
And yes.
I'd like to say most of our listeners and people who write in to notice things. I think most of them are very constructive in their criticism, and it's very helpful. But yeah, there are,
We did recently get a comment, someone who just wrote in and said, your DJs are getting worse. And it's like, yes, please elaborate. We would like to learn more. We want to know what your comments are, and to let us know how we can improve. That's the most important thing about learning.
So they didn't talk about news people, it was just DJ, right?
Right, just us. Right. So there's only 3 people that could be getting worse. It could be all of us. All right. Back in 20 seconds.
But you put a song on? Or is that at the end?
All right, yes, you're right. There's always something exciting on ICRT. And on Friday afternoons, it's our Real Talk with Nancy and Philip. Say hello.
Hello. Hi.
We were just talking to our Facebook Live audience, and I forgot to mention this. If you don't have a story per se to share with us, please at least go to our Facebook Live and let us know that if you've ever been trolled or if you've ever trolled somebody. If you've ever been trolled, click on the sad emoticon. And if you ever trolled somebody, click on the heart emoticon, which is a strange emoticon.
There's some kind of perverse, sickening, twisted thing going on with our marketing guy, Mike.
Yeah.
Secretly, he
must be a troll himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why he chose those emoticons. He's weird. Okay.
All right.
Being
So
trolled makes sense. Anyways.
But you know what? That sort of is what trolling is, because trolling makes you feel better.
True.
Right? Putting someone down always tends to make you feel better. And that is
not me though.
That could be a vicious cycle.
All right, Mr. Holier Than Thou.
Yeah, come on now.
All right.
You can come down to our level every once in a while. And I do agree, because sometimes when you tell people they're wrong, it feels good that you're a little better. And I think it's a vicious cycle when it comes to parenting, is when parents tell their kids that they can't do anything well, and then they in turn, when they grow up, tell their kids the same thing. That's a common theme, I think, that people do understand. A lot of movies tend to cover this topic, and trolls, I think, comes from the same place.
Yes. But I mean, it's like there's baseless attacking versus actually criticizing somebody for doing something wrong. I mean, if I feel someone is doing something wrong and I call them out on it, of course it makes me feel good. But I mean, baselessly attacking someone just for no reason.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it could be potentially a gray area. I mean, there are people who are really extreme and, attack and you get really personal with their insults with no basis. But I think a lot of trolls actually think that whoever's talking is misinformed or doesn't know what they're talking about, and I need to inform you.
I think you're wrong, Nancy.
Do you have any evidence of that, Joey?
I'm a troll. I don't need evidence. Let's find out whether people can feel better when putting someone down. We did interview this American interviewee who did sort of bringing a little bit of that, calling himself a defensive troll. So let's give this one a listen right here on ICRT.
So I'm not the one who usually goes out and troll people but every once in a while I'll jump in and do what I call defensive trolling, basically trolling the trollers. And there was this one instance many years ago where mutual friend's friend, which I've never met before, was trolling the Taiwan Facebook group, basically criticizing the government and praising China and how awesome it is. So usually I don't care about these type of comments since you'll have trolls on both sides of the aisle. But what's unique is that this individual, he was born in China, but he grew up in the States. So, and he's been in Taiwan, so he'll go to Taiwan and visit a lot. So, which is kind of strange. So if you're praising China, why are you visiting Taiwan? Anyway, so I rebutted his original statement with facts such as, so I guess you support selling poisoned dog food and milk to your population. You support internet filtering and systemic news censorship. You support human rights violation. Basically questioning his original statement, and I pretty much ended it with an insult, which was pretty personal. And after that, we didn't see any additional posting from that individual, and that pretty much felt pretty good, in my opinion.
There you go. That's what it is. Sometimes it feels good, but of course he calls himself a defensive troller or a defensive troll, conducting defensive trolling, which is, I guess, a different thing. Let me just quickly share a comment sent through the ICRT live chat. There is. Who is it? Pei Lun, I think. Pei Lun Xie said that it's a nice topic, the culture of trolling that means cleverly and secretly pissing people off, usually via the internet or dialogue. I don't like this kind of persons. I think they have some negativity and jealousy. And I would have to argue personally that if you can somehow cleverly piss people off, that's usually brownie points, right? As a troll, usually if you at least do it with a sense of humor, then okay, fine, I'll take it. What do you guys think?
I think it can definitely be done cleverly.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's should we do this one now?
Sure.
Well, you guys have all heard of BuzzFeed, obviously.
Right.
They do their lists, and they've got a list of basically J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, trolling people online. Often it's in response to trolls, but she does things in very clever ways. Let's see. For example, she trolled Mike Pence by posting a quote from the Bible.
This is the White House spokesperson.
Oh, yeah, the White House spokesperson. By posting a quote for the Bible, which says, "For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul?" So that was in response to him banning Muslims from entering the U.S. So, I mean, you can troll in clever ways.
But that's so intelligent that it's not even fun as a troll anymore, is it? It's just
I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, okay.
The Vice President of the United States.
Oh, excuse me, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's Sean
Spicer.
Spicer is the spokesperson.
Yeah, we have another comment from Jason Wong, and he's saying trolls should please, wow, he's so polite about it. Trolls, please provide constructive criticism too. It's your freedom
there you go.
that you don't like some perspectives. So true. Provide the reasons why logically, otherwise you're not improving the society we're living in, but drawing everyone backwards.
I think one of the biggest, I think he hits on a good point here, one of the biggest definitions between trolling and otherwise commenting would be that trolling is a shutting down of communication, whereas other comments are about building constructive communication.
Well said.
But I think that's because the world seems to be moving towards sensationalism, be it in news and journalism or in just social interaction. People are bored when they see an argument put forth backed up by facts. They just want
that's why last
headlines.
Year's word of the year was, what was it, post-factual or post-truth? It was post-truth. We are living in a post-truth world.
Speaking of that, the person who's probably being trolled the most around the world is the Donald right now, who is actually seeking to change libel laws in the States because he gets trolled so much. Now, we're not going to get into the thick of it, but basically, this is also confronting free speech, basically, right? At what point are you trolling? At what point are you exercising free speech? And that's the question we have to answer, I suppose.
I think free speech doesn't mean you get to say whatever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah. But America is known for its free speech. That's why there's no libel laws in the States. And, you know, there's got to be a line where you have to draw. And maybe that line eventually will be drawn by laws.
And there's also a question of legality and decency, which is not exactly the same thing.
That's true. Okay, let's talk about some light trolling topics then. Recently in Taiwan, a girl visited Korea, is it? A very pretty girl from Beinu, which for now, the English name escapes me. A very prestigious high school here in Taiwan.
Girls' high school?
Sounds about right. Yeah, I think that's it. And she's so beautiful that when she took a picture in Korea, she didn't post it herself, but rather the internet found her. Found the picture and posted it, and then the trolls emerge, and they're basically saying that, oh, she's so full of herself, and blah, 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 all kinds of things that trolls can say. So in cases like this, where you, even if you didn't intend to achieve a celebrity status, you could still get trolled.
Yeah, I think this is kind of an unfortunate story. I mean, I don't know her personally, but I don't know exactly all the details. But it seems like she wasn't a person who was willing to become famous, and then she suddenly became somebody who was also famous and hated.
Right. Yeah.
It's bewildering, I'm sure.
Because if you're someone who at least works in that realm, and you are a celebrity, then maybe you do have to learn to grow a thick skin, as Phil would say. Like for myself, I never get trolled because I have a pretty holy MP,
So maybe you were trolled and you just didn't notice.
But yeah, exactly. But for people like this, they didn't even intend to achieve that status, and they were trolled, and that seems to be unfair. I wonder what it is that our listeners are thinking right now.
Well, Truyan Lee says, again, gossip is one thing and troll is another. We all need mind-opening and independent thinking. True.
To some extent, I feel like we're preaching to the choir. It seems like we have a pretty logical, rational group of listeners.
Yeah, I'm proud of them.
So, yeah, exactly.
All right.
Good job, we're proud of you guys.
Nice job.
Okay, we're going to pay quite a few of you to give away some movie tickets because you've all contributed to our topics. And one last thing is, if you guys are fans of the movie Spider-Man, you probably remember the chief editor of whatever that news company is. He says, well, Spider-Man doesn't want to be famous, I'll make him infamous. And that seems to be, the news forward. Spider-Man is a figure created in the 70s, and that sensationalism in news is still conducted today. So one more thing is, if you are being trolled and you feel like you're under pressure, there are hotlines that you can call here in Taiwan to look for advice. The first one is 1995, and the second one is 1980, where you can find counseling. And also, you can always just dial the police hotline, 119. Of course, they'll direct you. All right, do continue to share more troll stories with us, whether you've trolled or you've been trolled, and maybe it's changed the way you think about how to exercise your rights on the internet. If you don't have time for a story, make sure you come to our Facebook Live and click there's a sad face for ever being trolled, and click on the heart for a troller. For a troll. I mean, why do I keep on saying troller? Anyway, that's the topic today. Thank you all for joining us, Nancy, and Philip. Thank you very much for being here. Hello, handsome and gorgeous. Thank you for watching our video. If you like more general shenanigans or artist interviews, please make sure you click to the next video, but also make sure you subscribe to us by pressing the bell button down here, because we like to tell you more about fun stuff coming up.